What's up YouTube? Deathmaster Reviews here with another video. And well, I thought I would just give my input into a topic I've been thinking about recently. And it was sparked, these thoughts, by Korn, who have recently released a new track for their upcoming album, which will be released in October. And I checked out the track, I had it to a music video with it, and it was very impressive, I must say. It was had a very Issues vibe to it, which is like one of their earlier albums, the fourth record, I believe it was. It has some of those kind of high, warbly melodies, which you see Monkey and Head use, and very bassy riffs, very kind of early nu metal sounding. And it was impressive. I thought it was a decent song. But one thing that's been bothering me is the way that I've seen so many artists basically go, I mean, talking about Korn, you've got Head and Jonathan Davis have said this on Metal Hammer and other various other articles. You've said, oh, this is going to sound like our old stuff, this is just going to be as raw as the first album, and other sort of statements along that kind of bullshit. And it got me thinking, the amount of times I've heard bands say, we're going to try and be like our first two albums or whatever, and it's turned out to be shit. It's just unreal. I felt I would give you a few examples. So, here I have this album, Slipknot. If you haven't listened to this album, well, first off, if you're not into nu metal, I highly don't recommend you to listen to this, but if you're into nu metal, if you're into, your kind of rap-infused, groove-sounding metal, highly suggest listening to that album. It's very, the thing about that album is, you commonly hear this word to describe early records of bands. You hear the term raw, and no, we don't mean it's not cooked. What we mean when we use that term is we mean it's got an original sound, it's got a pure sound which you can sort of relate to. It's not like it's been manufactured to death until the point where it's just an over-polished product. It's just, we're going to record music, throw it on a disc, like it or don't like it. It's really kind of just like a Neanderthal sort of outlook on recording music. And that's what Slipknot had in their first record. They were just a bunch of coked up fucking college kids, essentially, just recording crazy music, wearing jumpsuits and masks, losing the shit on stage, and they thought, you know what, let's put this on a fucking record. And they did, and it sounds boss. I mean, the thing with that record though is it's more so that there are some songs on it that are brilliant. I mean, you got songs such as Wait and Bleed, obviously, is a brilliant song. Spit It Out as well, which is still a huge live staple at their shows. You have lesser known tracks as well, like No Life, Diluted, and what's it called? I always forget the name. Liberate, that's it, Liberate Bananas, it sounds like it says. And what was I going to say? So, you're talking about this as Slipknot's first record and how it's got this raw sound. So, how do you make that raw sound better? This way. This baby, which is Iowa, their second studio album. And this album is just unbelievable. I would rank it probably my top 5, no, probably more like top 3 metal albums of all time. It is a top class record. Every song has every artist's full attention to detail. And the thing with Iowa is it's not so much that I will say, this is a brilliant album, and they'll say what songs are off it are good. I will say to them, just listen to the album as one, imagine, treat it as if it's one giant song, and I think that's what makes a good album. So you might be thinking, why are you rambling about Slipknot and fucking their earliest records? Because Slipknot recently released, well, I say recently, a few years back, I guess, 2014 was, they released Chapter 5, whatever the fuck it is, the Grey Chapter, one thing as well in the media, similar to what Korn have done recently, is, oh, this is going to be like our original albums, don't you worry, you fans, you'll get a good product. And so I listened to the Great Chapter, and, well, it was shit. None of the tracks really impressed me, besides maybe Sarcastrophe. That was it. A lot of the tracks were lame, they were poorly written, they were too slow, really. They had no energy. It sounded like Slipknot. It's what Slipknot would sound like if there was a business way of formatting their songs. It'd be like, okay, we need a heavy intro, you need your soft sort of melodic bit with Corey's vocals, then you need to have heavy rock and roll, yeah. It was such a clearly formatted album with no artistic thought that I just thought, how can anyone dig this shit? How can anyone actually think this is Slipknot's best work? Because they said themselves, oh, we're trying to sound like Iowa. It's like, yeah, you are, and that's the problem. You've created a record where instead of offering something new to the table as artists, as creators of music, thinking, right, what can we do next to progress our personal experience writing music? You just thought, oh, we'll just write a boring album which sounds like Iowa. That doesn't impress me. Look, I've already fucking got Iowa. I don't need to hear it a second time. Stop trying to re-record your fucking best albums, you dumb fucking idiot. And it's not just Slipknot who do this. Every band tries to do this. Fucking Korn have done this loads of times now. I think it was Volume 3, I think it was, where they were like, oh, we're trying to go back to our original sound. It was fucking awful. It was so bad. It was nowhere near Korn's best material. It was clearly just kind of, alright. It literally, you can imagine, oh, fuck off, low battery. I'm sorry about that. But you can literally imagine Korn sitting down at a fucking business table and going, right, what do we need to get our fans to buy our next album? What have we done in our past albums that succeeded? I mean, literally, I don't want to just be dissing Korn and Slipknot here, because every fucking band does this, and it's really frustrating when they do. I mean, freaking Metallica are releasing a new album soon. They're saying, oh, we're going back to our thrash roots. It's like, good luck with that. You're never fucking going back to your thrash roots, let's be honest. You're in your mid-50s now. Why would you give a shit about what you used to play in when you're in your mid-20s, coked up? Because that's the truth. They don't care. Artists eventually grow up past the point where they don't have the same attitude towards the music as they did when you're in their 20s. It's the same reason why Korn don't sound as good as they did in the mid-90s, because they weren't as young and energetic. Now they have different ideas as artists. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying artists shouldn't try to sort of retain that energy. In fact, I support that. That's what I don't disagree with. But what I do disagree with is when bands instead decide, oh, you know what we're going to do? We'll just do what we did on this already recorded album and hope people just dig it because, you know, they digged it the first time, they'll do it again, won't they? I really hate that attitude, and so many bands use that, and they disguise it as if like, oh, we're not sellouts anymore, but in fact it's the complete opposite. It's just them trying to make you think, oh, they're not the same sort of shitty band they've been for the last 10 years, maybe it's going to be a difference, I'll buy the record and see what it's like, and it turns out to be fucking shit. It's what Slipknot did with the Grey Chapter, at least in my humble opinion. But come on, it was obvious they were trying to do another Iowa with like the really sort of slow progressive songs and like the long intros. It was a, I mean, people literally said this was their second best album after Iowa. In my opinion, it's the worst, because they're clearly just trying to do what they've already done. I mean, I myself, by no means anywhere, even in the same galaxy compared to Slipknot, but I am an artist myself. I record my own music. I'll put a link in the description of my black metal demo I did. Overlord is called. I'll make a video on that in the future. But anyway, I did a black metal demo, and right now I'm recording more music and I'm trying to write more songs, and I'm not trying to be like I was on that demo. I'm trying to think, right, I'll get a bit more experimental with my taste. I've taken in wider influences, and I've started becoming a bit more independent with my sort of songwriting. And the thing is, as an artist, I don't see why you would want to make an album which is like your first album, because everyone knows that argument, oh, the first albums are always the best. And to be honest, 90% of the time it is true. The first album's when you capture the raw energy, and it's when your band is at your most optimistic, and then they tour for a few years, do lots of drugs, go on lots of cundowns, have lots of arguments, and then it all goes to shit after that. I mean, one thing I respect about Iron Maiden so much is on their most recent album, Book of Souls, everyone went, oh, that wasn't their best effort. They should have done so much better than that. But in my opinion, it was a brilliant album. Everyone was like, oh, it was boring, it's not like Iron Maiden. It's like, yeah, but every fucking time Iron Maiden releasing a new album, you complain it's not like the original. Then they do a new album which is actually artistic and creative in its own way, and you'll fucking shun it because you're stupid. And that's what I hate. Don't try and make artists sound like they already have done. They've already made that fucking album. It's like, it's the same thing with sequels. Why make so many sequels if you already got that brilliant movie? In the first place, all you're doing is tampering that product. You're not changing anything. You're just essentially just shitting on what was a good product. Don't fucking do that. But you know, that's just my opinion. I think I'll end the video right about now before I start getting too pissed off. But basically, a quick summary. You shouldn't want bands to make albums like their earliest material, because if their earliest material is the best and they've already made it, just listen to that, and then you can use that as a ground mark to listen to the band further and sort of listen with more of an open mind and listen to their experimentations. Korn have done that, and despite how shit it was, I do respect the fact they tried to mix with dubstep. I mean, it was obviously very contrived and obviously very, oh, we'll try and fit in with the new scene, but the matter of the fact is they still tried out a new sound, and it could have worked. It fucking didn't. It was dreadful, but at least they tried it. And that's what I respect from artists, not just thinking, oh, we will make an album like the first one, don't you respect us as artists? No. Stop trying to fucking scrounge off what was already a good album. But that's my humble opinion. Don't get too butthurt about it. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video. I don't know how this will go down with many people. I think it could go wrong, but then again, I don't get that many views anyway, so who knows. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you another time. Thanks for watching.